In an unprecedented visit to the Federal Reserve headquarters on Thursday, President Donald Trump and Fed Chairman Jerome Powell engaged in a public dispute over the cost of the central bank's ongoing renovations. The unusual confrontation unfolded live as the two men, donning hard hats, toured the construction site with reporters in tow. The friction began when President Trump handed Powell a piece of paper claiming the project's cost had ballooned to a staggering $3.1 billion. Chairman Powell, examining the paper, immediately pushed back, clarifying that the actual cost was $2.5 billion. "Are you including the Martin renovation?" Powell asked, referring to a separate Federal Reserve building. "You just added in a third building." "That's a third building," he explained, noting the Martin building renovation was completed 5 years ago, directly contradicting Trump's assertion that it's a building that's being built. This visit marked the latest escalation in President Trump's months-long campaign to pressure Powell into lowering interest rates, which currently stand at around 4.3%. After the tour, speaking without Powell present, Trump reiterated his stance, stating, "We have to get the interest rates down. People are pretty much unable to buy houses." However, the president did step back from recent threats to dismiss Powell before his term expires in May 2026. When pressed on whether the renovation costs constituted a fireable offense, Trump replied, "I don't want to put this in that category," adding, "To do that is a big move, and I just don't think it's necessary." The Federal Reserve's renovation project spans two historic buildings, the 1937 Mariner Eccles Building and a neighboring structure. Fed staff attribute the cost increases to heightened security requirements, rising material costs, tariffs, and strict historic preservation standards. Notably, Time magazine reported that President Trump's own steel and aluminum tariffs, imposed at 25% and 10% respectively in 2018 and further increased to 50% this year, actually contributed to the cost escalation. Steel prices alone have risen approximately 60% since the project's approval, with overall construction material costs increasing by about 50%. The project includes extensive underground construction, blast-resistant windows, seismic walls, and 3 levels of underground parking, necessitated by Washington, D.C.'s height restrictions and preservation requirements. When asked what Powell could do to reduce his criticism, Trump simply stated, "I'd love him to lower interest rates."